Lunch with Leaders is very much set up in a lot of the same ways that we do the business development podcast, which I found that kind of touching and fun.
I agree. Yeah, I there is a parallel there for sure. You got it.
Yeah. And one of the cool things that I notice is that there's synchronicities on the business development podcast between, a lot of the experts that we've had on the show, especially, executives, CEOs, things along those lines. It's amazing how many of them have very similar stories and have faced very similar challenges. I think most business owners hop into business and they think that all their problems are unique to them. And while it can feel that way in the moment, it's sometimes nice to hear shows like this or to read books like Lunch with Leaders and realize that we're all facing these challenges.
100%. You're bang on that for sure.
Mike, one of the things that wasn't in the book is your Lunch with Leaders story. And I always love to start this show with who is Mike Mack. And so I want you to give it to us just like you kind of did in Lunch with Leaders. Who is Mike Mack? Take us back to the beginning.
I'm all over that. And thank you for the opportunity. It's interesting as a few people have brought that up, including my wife as well. Hey, you plan on being part of the chapter of the book? And as I said, that book wasn't about me. It was about the other leaders in it. And I think from my vantage point, even going through the book journey, I have a greater appreciation of my own journey as well. So thanks for the opportunity to share that. So what I always like to say, from humble beginnings as small town Saskatchewan, being a Saskatchewan farm boy, which actually surprisingly has opened a lot of doors, because I think fundamentally you think, well, he must be a pretty nice guy and a hard worker.
Yep.
I say I learned to be a nice guy from my mother, my late mother, and my late father taught me to work hard. So small town kid that was always aspiring for more, but always those humble beginnings and the roots and taking care of the neighbors and helping out, as you will. So early in my career, I got into financial services. I was a banker in my former life and started in Regina, Saskatchewan. Really a privilege to be part of the banking career for 15 years. So it allowed me to progress as a manager and as a leader at that time, where I evolved in Regina, moved around in Saskatchewan, ended up in Prince George, British Columbia. And then I've been in Edmonton north of 26 years now. So that journey, I learned a lot about that professional banking journey over time, just learning to respect confidentiality and build trust with clients and elevating my own professionalism and business acumen as well. Personally, I'm from a family of 6, so I'm the youngest of 6. And again, our parents had passed away a long time ago, and our family is very close, even though we don't see each other all the time. So I wrote a book on relationships. I value relationships a great deal, both personally and professionally.
Yes.
So the banking journey had served me very well, and privileged that they did help fund my MBA from Athabasca University, which is coming up. I think I'm losing track of time, but I think it's 22 years ago almost that I completed that. So, I'll say I did various careers, but surprisingly not as many as most. So when I left banking, I got into insurance for a while, and I had a very unique opportunity back in 2000 to go into the insurance industry and to actually open an office from scratch, to hire every single person and build it up. That was a unique experience and something I'm quite proud of when I look at some of those high points in my life where I had an opportunity to build it from scratch, and it became the number one office within that company in Canada. So that was something that I look back and, at the time to say, was I a great leader? I think I learned a lot of things just from fundamental roots that I had back in maybe in my Saskatchewan days. Mm-hmm. I did a stint in the executive side in nonprofit, and my calling inevitably led me to entrepreneurship. Now, when I started X5 and in the fall of 2006, I would say this to many people, Kelly, is that honestly, it probably took me 5 years to say that I was an entrepreneur. I enjoyed early success, which I was very grateful for. In simple form back then, early success was that I could eat and I could afford to do things, which was great. Yes. But it was at least 5 years plus where I went, hey, I actually feel like I'm an entrepreneur. And today, fast forward that to 17 plus years, we're in our 18th year at X5 Management, where I do relate to the people that are in Lunch with Leaders, and I feel that I'm that type of person. They've got some really amazing stories, but as that subtitle in the book suggests, real stories of pivotal moments. I had a lot of pivotal moments, honestly.